welcome to Whiskey and Wool. My name is Shannon, and this is my Knitter's Life series. This is a special episode, my Rhinebeck episode. I am not going to talk about my knitting projects or anything like that. It's not a normal episode. Instead, I am going to show you my Rhinebeck experience from 2021. So sit back and enjoy. I have a lot of little clips. It's going to be a heck of a editing. I'm not sure when you're going to watch this, but this is, I'm recording this on Sunday of Rhinebeck weekend. I only go on Saturday generally. Sunday though, if you're have never been and you're watching this for 2022 or future episode or a future trip that you're planning to go to Rhinebeck, Sunday is actually a really great day for shopping because it's a lot less crowded, and unless a supplier had a very limited special edition Rhinebeck exclusive thing, it's fine. Like, the vendors all bring enough wool and things for the entire weekend. Anyway, I am home and recording this for you, and yeah, let's get into it. I am drinking some hot tea. It is cold today. Finally, we're starting to get some really true fall weather. I think it went down to the 40s last night, and it is going to get to be maybe 60 today, but this is morning and it's quite cold, so I made some hot tea for the first time in months. And this mug is so adorable, I must show it. I got this at Maryland Sheep and Wool, virtual Maryland Sheep and Wool, and it is a knitting chicken. I don't remember the potter, but yeah. Really, really love it. I just thought it was so cute. Okay, so what am I wearing and what is Martha wearing? Let's start with those. I am wearing the Illuminate sweater. I've talked about this on my channel. This was one of two sweaters that I wore for Rhinebeck. My sweater, I was captured by Christy Glass for her Tell Me About Your Rhinebeck sweater, wearing my crochet bomber jacket from Meeps. I'll put a picture in here. I just didn't bring it over. It's not that cold to wear it. Yesterday was very, very hot. So it was like 75 in Rhinebeck. Yeah, I ended up taking that off and putting it back in my car and just walking around in a t-shirt most of the day and jeans, and even that was kind of sweaty. A lot of people were wearing shorts, which was smart, or dresses, skirts, things like that. So that was a good choice. Martha's wearing my outfit that I wore to Cakepalooza. So Cakepalooza was a brand new event for this year. I don't know if they're going to do a second one next year or any of the years after, but it was hosted by Cake Wool. Her studio is in the town of Saugerties, and she brought together a bunch of vendors, different indie dyers and other, local yarn shops that were from far away. It's very difficult for new vendors to get into Rhinebeck as a vendor. So, and especially this year because it was such a weird year. We're still in a pandemic. It's still a little dangerous, especially if you're unvaccinated or you're immune compromised. So Rhinebeck took some precautions, and it was even harder, I think, to get a spot. So Cakepalooza was one of a few different satellite events. It was the only one I went to. The other satellite events, so these events that are not affiliated with Sheep and Wool but happen on the same weekend in the neighborhood. Saugerties is across the Hudson River from Rhinebeck, just connected by the Rhine Cliff Bridge. And so it was right in the area. It was the day before Sheep and Wool. New York Sheep and Wool is both Saturday and Sunday, so this was on Friday. There was another event on Thursday that I heard was amazing, but I did not go. I just couldn't get time off of work. This was crazy. The last couple weeks have been so stressful for me. So I'm going to talk to you about Cake Wool first, and I've inserted some clips here. They had timed entrances, so I went in. I had the very first time slot. Deciding to go to Rhinebeck this year was a last minute decision for me, mostly because of it is also Friday was my granddaughter's first birthday. They live in Texas, and my son had said not to come for her birthday because they weren't going to be able to do a real birthday party event, and I would have had to isolate because it's still quite scary out there. So I just ended up not booking that trip. Instead, last minute, decided to go to Rhinebeck. So Cakewool had pre-sale of the tickets. You had to buy your tickets in advance. And one of the things that you could get with that advanced ticket sale was this tote bag, a pre-order of this tote bag. This is by a project bag designer named Crista Jaeckel. Jaeckel. I think she's Boston based, and she does these project bags in canvas where she hand stamps the fabric. So it's really quite labor intensive. So I've been eyeing her project bags for a really long time and really wanted one. So this was a nice way to, support Cakepalooza, but also get a project bag. I also pre-ordered a t-shirt for the event, which they were on back order, so I did not get that. I'm going to just go in no particular order here. I do not remember the vendor name. I'm going to need to look this up, but really nice woman, lovely, because I was like in the 10 o'clock time slot and I was pretty close to the front of the line. I was able to get into booths before they got too crowded. That event, Cakepalooza, I was there until about noon for about 2 hours. It never really got super crowded, which was nice. I think the timed entrances really help. And I also think, people were respectful and there was plenty of room. It never felt really crowded there. So I got this really cute little notions pouch with sheep and a lamb. She had a bunch of different styles. Again, don't remember the vendor name, popping it on screen for you. So yeah. I also saw Amanda Solomon of Melanated, she's known as Melanated Boho Bae on Instagram, and I picked up 2 of her art bats. I have some of her art bats in my stash, so I just wanted to show you these 2. This is inspired, this one, I just love the colors in this like dirty mauve color with the hot pink and the metallic like copper and gold and bronze metallic in there. It's beautiful. It's called Stunning, and it is inspired by Christina of Chelsea Yarns. So I actually loved it, and then when I was buying it, Amanda told me that it was inspired by Christina, so I was like, oh, I love it even more. The other one is called Boho Mint, and it's just this little beautiful pastel mint color with these pops of hot pink and yellow and metallic. Each of these I think are 4-ounce bats, and they'll be so much fun to spin. Okay, I went into the Knit Collage booth because I had to see Amy. She's just the loveliest person, Amy Small. She is the owner of Knit Collage, and I don't knit much with bulky yarn. If you follow me normally, you know that mostly I wear fingering weight. That's the weight that I love to wear. Of course, I would love to knit with bulky, but I don't like to wear it. So, but I was inspired by a poncho pattern. And I don't know that I have enough yarn because I do have some of this in my stash already. So I have to check the pattern. I just was inspired to see the poncho. I needed to see Amy and just say hi to her because she's such a lovely human being. I just love her. And yeah, so I bought this beautiful mini skein set. And I bought, and my idea with this was to use this to make flower crown. They have a free flower crown pattern. So I thought I would make a beautiful flower crown for my granddaughter. Yeah, and I want to make one for myself and use it as a hat band. I have a really beautiful hat that is neutral color, so I thought, maybe it would be fun. So the idea with the flower crown is that you're supposed to use your leftover knit collage yarn to make the flowers, like needle felt flowers, and then this is the band that goes around your head or around the hat. But I have a lot of fleece, so because I'm a spinner, so I feel like this is too precious to use in those flower crowns, so I probably am going to just use my fleece to needle felt it, and hopefully I'll get those done in the next, month or so, maybe in time for Christmas. I'm going to stop for a minute and I forgot to tell you my whole outfit. So I did this is what I wore to Cakewool. This is the watermelon sweater from Boho Stickening. It's only in that book. I have talked about this on my channel. You can also check out both of these sweaters and more information about the yarns and stuff, which I'm not going to detail here, on my Ravelry project page if you can access Ravelry. If you cannot access Ravelry and you really want to know about them, you can drop me an email and I will tell you everything that I can think of about them. I also wore this skirt, which I think you're only partially seeing. It's kind of a tutu style, lots of ruffles and layers of netting fabric in this lovely chartreuse color and this like elastic waistband. So that was my whole Cakewool outfit. Okay, moving on. I had to stop in and see Vida Lifestyle as well because she had a special Halloween Town color that she made for the event. And this is a really beautiful sock set. I don't know what I'll do with it. I just felt like I love the color combos and it's so cute. So I may make socks. I may just stash this. Probably just stashing it for now because I think I have my knitting planned for the next few months. I also bought some candles from her. This is just beautiful. This is also the Halloween Town color. And it's this creamy white candle with multicolored sprinkles. I mean, look. She said the scent was Snickerdoodle, which is kind of a vanilla browned butter scent. It smells really great. So I'll be burning that soon. The other candle I bought from her was from her coffee collection. One of the things that I like about what Victoria does with her yarn, she develops collections that are somewhat seasonal, but also so she'll like dye a bunch of like a certain number of colors, anywhere from like 6 to 8 colors it seems like, and they're all centered around a theme. And then when those sell out, when they're gone, and she's on to her next theme. So this was a candle from her coffee collection. It is hazelnut. So her latest collection was coffee collection. I believe it's practically sold out. I didn't see much of it. She did have some socks knit out of one of the coffee collection yarns, but it's a really clever way to dye, and it keeps her creative processes flowing. So yeah, I admire that about her. She had a collection this summer that was genius. It was called Carnival Collection, and it was right up my alley. Lots of bright colors and beautiful. Okay. I went into Mermaid Pearl, the Mermaid's Pearl. I think that I'm saying it right. The Mermaid's Pearl, right? The local yarn shop that is located in, I believe she's on Cape Cod. And I picked up a few things there. This was a little mini skein that was her, color colorway for the show called Mermaid's Secret. It's just so cute. That'll go into my mini skein jar. I also picked up her Spincycle color. So this is exclusive to her. It's a dyed in the wool, and it's called, I think it's called Mermaid Song or Siren Song. Siren Song. It's like, it's cut off on the sticker. Yes, Siren Song. But it's a beautiful sort of royal blue turquoisey color, which if you know me, you know I love those. I love a good turquoisey blue. So this is the exclusive Spincycle color. And along with that, so 2 years ago, more than that now, when I was at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, this was one of my biggest regrets. I regretted not buying this Biche and buches, probably totally butchering that. Sorry, French speakers. Le Petit Lambs wool. This is the colorway dark turquoise, blue turquoise. I bought a sweater's quantity of this. This is a fingering weight wool. So this, they had a booth at EYF. I liked their wool quite a lot. I was a little overwhelmed with all the things that I was picking up there, and I very much regretted not buying some of their wool. So when I saw it, I just had to jump on it. And it's fairly low priced, I feel, for wool. For like non-superwash wool, it seemed very reasonably priced, but I thought those go interestingly together, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think I may combine these somehow, like maybe some sort of colorwork yoke sweater out of this beautiful, beautiful dark turquoise. I saw Asylum Fiber there as well, and I purchased one of her. She's got rainbow, like many different versions of rainbow. So I ended up buying this rainbow set here from Asylum Fiber. This is a 10 skein rainbow set. She also had, I think, 8 skein sets. She also had 50-gram sets. She really does a good rainbow set, and rainbow sets are so versatile. I love having them on hand. So yeah, so I have knit up my most recent rainbow set, so this is a nice extra thing to have. And last, Forever Yarn was there. I think they're from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They were there. And they were hosting Amy from Bien Aimée. And I don't know if you live in the United States, shipping from Paris is very expensive. So her yarn is gorgeous. But the shipping, you know, you could buy 2 more skeins of yarn for the amount of shipping. So I think whenever Amy is here, if she's, whatever she's got, if I have an opportunity to buy her yarn without having to pay shipping, I do it. So she was showing with Forever Yarn, she was showing her Corey worsted. And yeah, it was so lustrous. The luster on this, without, I may as well show you as I'm speaking about it. The luster of this wool is just beautiful. It is a gray base, and she has dyed it in her usual, like a lot of her regular colors, in the solid or semi-solid, and you know, just enjoying what that color looks like on a gray base. So this is the colorway Kitsune, and it is a worsted weight. Brand new yarn for her line. The skeins are 100 grams, 250 yards, so pretty standard worsted. It's, oh my gosh, it feels so great. It's non-superwash, and it is made out of 75% Falkland, Corriedale, and 25% Gotland. That's the, Gotland does not come in white, so it's a gray, black, silver sheep color. So yeah, it's so pretty. So I did buy a sweater's quantity of this. I'm not going to take them all out, but the vendor told me that 5 skeins would be enough for a sweater, so that would give me what, like yeah, 1,250 yards. So, so this was my big, probably weekend splurge. I actually spent most of my budget for the weekend at Cakewool. As you can see, I bought quite a lot there. But no regrets. Yeah, I ended up with like 2 sweaters quantities and some novelty things that will get worked in, to projects in the future. Yeah, I have no plan. I don't have a plan for this, but I will be looking at, there is a book coming out. Amy has a book coming out. It's curated by her, a collection curated by her called Worsted. And the idea being that I guess the release of the book is tied with the release of the yarn, if I have that right. The book isn't coming out till mid-November though, and I did take a peek, and there are some interesting patterns, but I'm not going to say I will definitely be doing one of those. I might be. I'm not sure. I'm going to look. All right. So that pretty much wrapped up my Friday. I saw Christy Glass was there, and she was hosting a virtual event. So she was popping in and out into the show. I don't know if I have any footage of her, but if I do, you've already seen it. The Caitlin and Jackie from Caddy Jacks were also there, and I love them. I had gifted Jackie some yarn a couple years ago, and because she had been talking about wanting a particular yarn to knit the as if tee, which I had, and I had made an as if tee out of it, and I had bought too much. I bought exactly double what I needed, and so I gifted it to Jackie so that she could make one for herself. And she ended up never making that sweater, so whatever, she'll do whatever she wants with it. So I brought more yarn for them to just gift them. So that was really fun, and so nice. I love them so much. I realize I need to see them outside of the festivals so that we can just chill and hang out and laugh. So one of these times when we're in the same area, we'll just have to have dinner and hang out, because it would just be so much fun. They are, they're popular, and they are swarmed by people waiting to say hi and stuff. So I tried to, pop in and out and speak to them quickly, and, yeah, it was so fun. Okay, I stayed overnight in the area. I have a friend who lives not too far from Rhinebeck Fairgrounds, and so I went there, and I have a little bit of footage from his yard. I just wanted to share some of the fall leaves. And the next morning, I drove down to the fairgrounds, and I saw Christy right at the front of the fairgrounds. While I was waiting in line, usually what happens is that, the fairgrounds are closed until 9 a.m. They open at 9, and then you just, go in. This was a pretty chill and slightly strange, different experience. I've been going to Rhinebeck now for several years, for many, many years. I also went when I was much younger, before I was really, really a knitter with a capital K. Every time I go, as many times as I've been, the experience of being there is so surreal. It just feels like, and there's these people that you follow on Instagram from all over the country, and usually there's global people too, but this time the U.S. hasn't been safe to travel to for people from out of the country, so it's not so easy to get to travel depending on what country you're coming from. So usually there's a lot of international folks too. But the fun of it is just to see these people in person, to all these people that you're following on Instagram, and then you're seeing them, you're like, oh my God, there's this person and that person, and oh hi. Yeah, that is just so awesome. So there's that part of it, and then it's just, there's just so much to look at and so much to see. And this time I tried really hard to take a lot of footage. I knew, because I had spent so much of my budget at Cakepalooza, that I wasn't really looking for, there was nothing in particular that I really wanted to check out, except for, I shouldn't say that. There were a handful of things. And my method, if this will help you, I print out the map of the event. And then I also print out the vendor list, and I go through and highlight the ones that I'm really interested in making sure I see, because the vendor list is huge. The booths and buildings can get very crowded. It can be really hard. Like Primrose Yarn Company, for example, you couldn't even get in that booth. And the other interesting thing about the way they did it this time, like usually it's like, you know, cheek to jowl, booth. This time it was booth, empty space, booth, empty space, booth, empty space. And as we were standing like in a crowd, not being able to move because it was so packed. And of course, everyone was wearing masks. When you were in the buildings, you had to wear your mask, especially if you're unvaccinated. It was super important. Someone behind me said, why didn't they just let the vendors spread out so that people could get into the booths more easily? And it's kind of true. Like, if you're gonna do a spread out sort of thing, because it seemed like some of the booths were very tight. Like Harrisville Designs usually does like 3 or 4 booths wide. They had a very, very tight small booth this time, though they were at the end, so it was easy to see them. And they only had one product. Usually they bring a bunch of products. So they only had their nightshades and daylights product. I didn't see any other product in there. It was mostly samples hanging so people could check out what the yarn is like. I didn't buy any Harrisville tweed. And I also didn't buy any Primrose. I didn't even go in the booths because the booths were pretty packed. But I do want to share with you what I did purchase. Okay. So this yarn company, this farm yarn, cannot keep that on my lap. She's called Boondoogle Farm. They're from Putney, Vermont. And her yarn is really interesting. I don't know a lot about her processes, her yarn production. But when I purchased this yarn right here, this is called, it has a cute name. Just want to, Some Bunny's yarn. She has fin sheep. So, the wool is 97% fin and 3% Angora rabbit. It is so beautiful. It has beautiful luster and it just looks amazingly drapey. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I bought every skein she had of it, which was 4. It is a fingering weight. It is 200 yards. So I have 800 yards of this gorgeous denim blue. I was kind of in a blue mood, I guess. I mean, it looks like black on screen, but it's actually a deep, dark, sort of teal, rich teal blue. I just was, like I said, I was sort of letting myself purchase whatever was interesting to me, with this idea of trying to not go crazy in terms of like just buying all the things. So this was something that I felt like I should have. She also does some really gorgeous fin mixed with cashmere, and I think those are animals. Fin, I know she has. I think she also has cashmere goats on her farm, so it was a 70-30 blend. They were spectacular, and had I not bought so much yarn at Cakepalooza, I probably would have done a sweater's quantity of that. She shared with me, because I asked her if she had an online shop and could I maybe, if I had any regrets, could I go and get some? And she shared with me that she does very limited runs of it. It only comes out once a year, and when it's gone, it's gone. And so she just was cautioning me that the skeins were quite expensive. I want to say they were around $45 a skein. So this one that I got with the bunny was a lot more affordable. So that's why it made it into my hands without the other. I was just looking, like, these are so close, very close. So this is a little bit darker than that other one, but that's fine. It's, it's fine, totally fine. My next stop was Building 22. So Building 22 is also known as the Agriculture Building. And this is kind of funny. The first few years that I went to Rhinebeck, I never even made it to that building. I just never went there. I didn't even know what was in it. I remember, I think I saw Agriculture Building and I just figured it was plants and stuff like that, but it's not. It's more booths full of wool and yarny things and fiber and all sorts of really, really cool things. So I had got familiar with Solitude wool from a Knit and Escape event in the spring, and I had purchased some of their wool, which that's a sweater that I'm about to cast on. And I had gotten their newsletter, and they were doing a show special that they were calling Rhinebow. So this is the Rhinebow yarn. It is hand painted so that I think it will stripe. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with it. I probably will make a hat or something like that. This is their Montadale blend, which, let's see if I can tell you what it is. It is 100% Montadale wool. It is non-superwash, and I think this is a worsted weight. Yes, worsted weight. Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to see the yardage. Okay, 140 yards, and it's a 4 ounce. So this is a heavy worsted actually. So it's a 4 ounce skein, which is slightly more than 100 grams. It's 3.5 ounces is 100 grams. So yeah, so this is a pretty significant amount. No idea what I'm gonna do with it. It just was so pretty. I had to have it. And I also purchased from them, speaking of Finn sheep, I purchased some fiber that is a Finn sheep blend, 100% Finn wool. This is, what do they call this color? Oh, she doesn't have the color, but it's all natural. So I don't know a lot about Finn sheep, but I think they come in all colors, like shades of black and gray, as well as white. But I just thought this would be a really cool spin. So this is a 4 ounce bat, undyed. Yeah, beautiful. So gorgeous. All right. And from there, I had a couple other places that I wanted to see. Building 22 is close to all the animals. So I kind of wandered around and looked at a lot of sheep. And I went through a couple other buildings. Loopy Mango was there in one of the buildings. They are opening a shop in Rhinebeck. I think they're moving. They were in a town that was somewhere in the Hudson River Valley, but not in Rhinebeck. So they are now moving officially to Rhinebeck. It is opening next month in November. My regular viewers will know that I am knitting a bunch of stockings. I am releasing a stocking pattern probably like mid-November. And I wanted some more of their yarn for a couple of the patterns that I have in mind. So I purchased just their shades of green. So they have this dark green that's pretty traditional, kind of a gray, traditional in terms of like Christmas green, kind of a traditional Christmas green, but it's called army green. It's not meant for Christmas necessarily, but it certainly works. And I purchased another brighter green that they have called edamame. So I just picked up a couple skeins just to continue this journey of developing these stocking patterns. So that's what these are destined to be. I'll be talking more about those on my regular episodes as that develops. I didn't tell you this in the narrative that I recorded, but I went by the auction barn where they do equipment auction. It was pretty cool. This was just before the auction started. I kind of wish I stayed behind to see what prices these things. There's a knitting machine right there from the 80s that was super cool. I was curious how much it was sold for. From there, I just kind of wandered the booths. There were some really interesting, there's a lot of interesting non-wool things. And since I was sort of feeling like I got a lot of wool already, I was interested in like looking at things that were non-wool. So I stumbled upon Dusty Buttons. So they're a big button vendor that they sell a lot of vintage and also vintage-like or vintage-inspired buttons. And they go to all the shows. So at least on the East Coast anyway. They may even do West Coast, I'm not sure. But I know they go to Rhinebeck. I know they go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I think they're usually at Vogue Knitting Live, which I don't think is happening in live this year. I don't know if they'll be live anytime soon. But I did pick up some buttons. I tend to really like buttons that I would say are kind of neutral. So I really love just natural shell buttons. So I picked up these beauties. These have like a green back. So sometimes what I'll do, I'll have, sometimes I'll use the white shell facing out, and sometimes I'll use the back facing out, just depending on what what I'm making. I also just picked up, I find that I use dark buttons a lot. So I picked up some of these, and funny enough, I have a blouse that's missing a button. So I was actually thinking like, oh, that's the button I need for that blouse. So they're identical. I also got the neck size up in the dark shell. And then I bought some novelty buttons that I thought would be fun. These are rhinestones. I think you can see. Yeah, so they're a little bag of like rhinestone buttons. And it's so funny, it was morning still, and I'm kind of a little bleary-eyed in the morning. Even though I had driven and I've been, I had my coffee and I was drinking lots of water, I was looking at these in the light in that barn, and I was like, do you sew these on? I could not see the hole. I can see it now fine, but I was about to ask someone, and then I was like, of course you can sew them on. This is a button booth. And then I purchased this mixed bag of different size oval shell buttons. And last I got these really cute rainbows, which I really thought would be perfect for my granddaughter for something, some future project down the road. And I love that there were 7. It's really nice to do an odd number of buttons. It just looks more balanced to the eye. If you do even numbers, this is just kind of a design fact. If you do even numbers of circular things, people will always see a face. But if you do odd numbers, you're satisfied. So you feel satisfied because there is no face. Or anthropomorphic shapes and stuff. You always, whenever it's symmetrical, and symmetrical meaning like even, people look for the anthropomorphic shapes. So they're not there if it's odd. So you don't keep looking for that. If you're not a regular viewer, you may not know, but I have spent a life designing. So doing clothing design. I'm now a professor, so I don't do very much designing anymore, just a little bit here and there. Sticking with the granddaughter theme, I fell in love with this little guy. It's a puppet. Oh my goodness. It was the last one she had. This store was selling a whole bunch of puppets. She had finger puppets, but I mean, look at this. Look at that woolly goodness. It's so cute. So this is for my granddaughter. I also purchased some other little handmade things. So this is also for my granddaughter for her bedroom. This vendor, I don't remember the names, but I'll put them on. Oh wait. I think I have her card here. Yes, Carpus Farm Puppetry. So she also had puppets, but they were more sophisticated, I would say, like maybe for older children. So I just purchased this one little star that she had threaded through some some string so this could hang. So I figured this would be a nice ornament for my granddaughter's bedroom. And the little baby comes out, and the baby is also a star. I just thought it was so cute. So these are completely handmade, hand felted, hand stitched, just really, really beautiful. This woman had a lot of things, a lot of different things, a lot of farm animals. So you could see here some chickens on this card. So cute, so cute. Definitely had to pick up something, and this was the something that I picked up from her. Another little wool toy maker and knitter had a booth, and she was selling these really cute little felted pumpkins. So I'm going to add this to my pumpkin collection. I have on display now. For October and November. And I like to buy ornaments at Rhinebeck. I purchased this little wool basket Christmas ornament with knitting needles and little mocked up balls of wool. Yeah, so those are, and there's always you may not know this, but there is a food building where they showcase regional food makers. So people that make small batch foods, whether it's, there was a baker, there's a couple of cheese vendors, there is a fudge vendor, just all this bounty from the Hudson Valley region, more or less. I stumbled upon a whiskey and gin and vodka maker, and I ended up purchasing Fellow's Gin, which I will be tasting this on my regular channel next, on my next episode, and I'll be telling you all about it. It's interesting because it's made from grapes, which gin isn't usually made from grapes. It's usually made from grain. So that's an interesting gin, which I look forward to sharing more with you about that. I didn't buy any other food. Like, I was looking, there was an apple vendor. Oh my God, the apples were beautiful. My thought as I was going through that building was, all these things are quite heavy. And I'll need to go back to my car, or maybe pass back through and pick stuff up and go back to my car with them. There were quite a few wine vendors there. There's a lot of local wine. The Hudson River creates a more temperate weather-wise, like on either side of it. So there's quite a few vineyards and stuff along the Hudson River. But yeah, I just was feeling overwhelmed and also feeling like I already spent a whole lot of money. Maybe I need to kind of just not. But so I was really trying hard to purchase things that I did not think I would be able to get outside the show. I did find, I'm not going to show it because they are Christmas gifts, but I want to just say that there were several pottery people. And I did make some pottery purchases that will be gifts for people in my family. I just don't want to show them because they're nicely wrapped up right now and they just need to stay that way. But do know that there was plenty of pottery. I didn't see this potter there, but they may have been there. Oh my gosh, there was so much beautiful pottery. But again, really heavy stuff. When I purchased the pottery that I did buy, it was right before I went and got the gin. So by the time I had the pottery and the gin, I ended up just going back to my car, and then coming back again, through the booths that I hadn't gone to. You might be familiar with Loop Fiber Studio. Certainly, if you watch my episodes, if you've been watching for a while, you know that my half and half wrap is made out of Loop Fiber Studio Yin Yang yarn. But Stephanie also makes these really unique, what she calls bullseye bumps. They are fiber for spinners. I fell in love with this. This was a very colorful one. Usually they are 8 colors. This one is a lot more than 8. It's probably about 12 colors. It is the colorway Serendipity. And they're all made out of fine merino. Sometimes they have stellina in them or Angelina mixed in. This one does not. This is 100% fine merino. The spinning of these, so I have spun a few of them. What I've done with the fiber bumps that I've spun, I will weigh she gives the weight, but I weigh it on my scale just to make sure. And I will spin one bobbin, half of it or a third of it, if I'm going to do a 3-ply, and then the second bobbin is the other half, and then I ply those together, and you end up with a really unique looking skein that self-stripes. I was just wondering if I had one behind me that I could show you that was made, because I did. That's pretty buried. If I have some pictures, I do have a picture of her booth that I'll insert here so you can see all the variation. I mean, it is fine merino. She sells them by the weight. This particular fiber bump is pretty expensive. It's $46. But I'll end up with, if I do a 2-ply, I'll end up with about 600 yards because it spins very fine, very, very thin. I may end up doing a 3-ply just so that it's a little bit more of a fingering weight versus a lace weight. But yeah, these are just fun. I have a couple in my stash still that I have not spun. When I first bought them 2 years ago at Rhinebeck 2019, I was a pretty new spinner. I learned to spin in spring of 2019. And I was scared to spin them. I wasn't sure what to do with them. And then I, got the confidence earlier this year to go ahead and spin some of them. And I love them. They're just so fun. They're just a really interesting. And now that I know the way to spin them, or the way that I enjoy spinning them, I now was a little bit smarter at looking at the bullseye bump going, well, all right, if I'm going to apply this on itself, then that means these colors will match up with, they'll match up with each other, and just kind of going through like, the ring that, that forms and realizing that, like, if this is the first half, then this is the second half, that's how those are going to match. So yeah, it was, yeah. Had to splurge on one of those because Steph does have an online. She is a Hudson River Valley vendor, so she's from the region, and she does have an online shop on Etsy, which is, she populates every so often, and she has a lot of regular colors. That was one thing I realized, that she has a lot of regular colors. But this show, she was featuring a lot of one-of-a-kind. So even though they're named, they weren't named one-of-a-kind. They have names. They were colors that you don't often see. So I really felt like it was an opportunity to purchase something unique and Rhinebeck-ish. Okay, what do I have left to show you? Oh, there were a lot of, there's lots and lots of fibers at Rhinebeck. And, I just, some of them, I was just like, I think I want to just sample this. Like, what's cool about Rhinebeck is that it can be hard if you're buying dyed bats to find breed-specific fiber. So that is part of the fun of Rhinebeck. Like, you are buying fleece that's breed specific and often produced by the farmer. So that's really awesome. I very much enjoy that. This was from a farm called Heart of the Meadow. They are a West Virginia farm, and this is the breed called Coopworth. And you can see that it's over dyed on a gray base, this really beautiful sort of red violet color. So pretty. And it is so soft. It was 4 ounce, kind of like little mini bats, like 4 little mini bats that, yeah, would just be fun to spin, see what it looks like. I have come to realize that this sort of red-violet color is one of my go-to colors. I really love red-violet and I really love turquoise, and I also really like them together. So, sorry, I am on my left over here is my computer, which is showing me what you're looking at, and my computer keeps going to sleep. So when you see me reaching over there, that's what I'm doing. I'm just turning it back on so I can make sure that you're getting a clear image of whatever it is I'm showing. While we're on the subject of fleece, there is a fleece sale also at New York Sheep and Wool, where you can buy these gorgeous fleeces that are recently sheared. And there is a score sheet attached to each of the fleeces, so you get a pretty good idea of what it is that you're buying. I am a little obsessed with these. I just loved them. I found that I really love Shetland in particular. I just didn't have the guts to buy one yet, so maybe next year. I need to learn more about how to clean them and how to take care of them. There's the scorecard right there. I'm going to just share one last purchase, and then I'm going to just talk a little bit about the social scene because it's really fun. All right. I had on my list White Barn Farm, also a very local farm that produces their own wool. And I met Paula, who owns the farm and runs it. I met her at Vogue, and she had said to me, I hadn't planned to buy any of her wool, but she'd said to me, "Oh, just buy one skein. Try it. You're gonna love it. They're gonna be the best socks you ever wore." And at that point in time, I really wasn't knitting socks, but I had a connection with someone where I was swapping her knitting me socks for handspun. So I was giving her handspun in exchange for her knitting me socks. So I had sent the skein to her, and these are really my favorite socks. I love them so much. So this is what it knits up to. This is like a coral color. The wool looks like this when you purchase it, but it micro stripes, as you can see here. I have washed these in the machine, even though, so they semi-felted, but they still fit, and they're so cozy. I love them so much. They really are my favorite socks. So when I knew Paula would be there, and I picked up two other, true to my, red, violet, and turquoise. So now that I'm knitting my own socks, I had to have this to go ahead and knit socks out of at some point. The wool is 80% Cormo Corriedale and 20% nylon. I'm not clear whether the sheep is Cormo Corriedale mixed or whether they're mixing the fiber. I suspect it's the sheep. So yeah, so these are gonna be great. Going to be spectacular. So yeah, I bought those from her. Oh, and I also bought a mug from her, which I don't have here, but just I'll put a picture in of a beautiful black speckle mug, just big, probably 20-ounce size mug, perfect for a big cup of warm tea or coffee. I was gonna use it for my tea today, but it was still dirty from my morning coffee. Those are all my purchases. I think I did pretty good. I'm going to put a couple pictures in here. I did some flat lays of my Cakepalooza and my Rhinebeck purchases. So Rhinebeck itself, besides all of this wonderful wool, it's sort of, for me, it's like three parts. There's the social aspect where you're just seeing all these people. Andrea Mowry was there. Amy from Bien Aimée was there. Cady Jacks was there. Christy Glass is there with her partner Eve Ashworth, who helps her run Knit and Escape. Just so many people, and people, all that. I ended up taking some pictures of some people that I didn't know who they were until they popped up. I knew them, but I couldn't have told you their name necessarily right then and there. But and the sweaters. The social part of the social aspect is all the sweaters. Seeing all the Illuminate sweaters on the Knitter's Hill was really beautiful. Like, it was just so fun to see everyone's different versions, seeing everyone's half and half wraps, from the Purl Soho half and half wrap, which Cady Jacks ran a knit along for. Yeah, it was so fun. I met so many viewers. I really deeply appreciate meeting each and every one of you. People who came up to me and said, "Oh my God, are you Whiskyandwool? You look like the woman who does Whiskyandwool." Yes, I am. And just meeting viewers was, I mean, it's so fun to talk with you this way and speak down in the comments, but like to meet people face to face, to see who you are on the other side of the screen. It's so nice. It's so nice. And so I deeply appreciate each and every one of you who approached me and chatted with me, and I learned so much. Just hearing that you love the whiskey chats, because I sometimes think, like, are people really watching this part, or are they skipping ahead? And knowing that you are interested in hearing me week to week or every other week when I broadcast, it's so meaningful. And so I'm getting a little emotional. Yeah, so thank you. From the bottom of my heart, it was just really great. Please tag me in your photos if you post. I would love to see, your pictures too. Yeah, and that way I can also follow you back if you're following me. Yeah, it would be so nice. And I did take some photos of people that approached me. I didn't remember every single time, and that just means that I was really interested in hearing what you had to say, and we were having a great conversation, and I forgot to take a picture. It doesn't, and because I did take a picture, it doesn't mean I didn't appreciate what you were saying. I really did. One of the funnest meetings was I met these two women that live near me, and they go to my local yarn shop. They know Nancy of Knit Tapestry. It was that was really great. And they were telling me that they do knit nights, and I was like, I should do the knit nights. I don't know why I haven't been doing the knit nights. I need to do them with Nancy. She's been telling me for years to come down, so I need to do that. I also I appreciate so much hearing what you have to say, because it helps me understand how well I'm communicating with you. And yeah, it's just so valuable. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much for coming up and saying hi. And yeah, thank you. I hung out with Amy Small again on Saturday, and she was encouraging me to, I mean, just like hanging out in the half and half wrap Cal people event that Cady Jacks organized. Oh, that was just so much fun. Those are the two most loveliest people you will ever meet. And yeah, my half and half wrap is super unusual. It's color blocked because I wanted to use my stash. I didn't want to buy new yarn, and I had these Loop Fiber Studio Yin Yang skeins that I was like, I need to do something with these. So I realized, like, after doing the same spiel about how I knitted it and what happened and what my process was like, that it may be valuable to do a half and half wrap Cal color block version, so that more people, after doing that spiel for like 5 times in a row and hanging out with Amy, and Amy saying to me, you need to do a video. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on that half and half wrap. And then I'm also planning a scrappy half and half wrap. It's going to be cashmere scrappy, because I have some dribs and drabs of Clinton Hill cashmere. Oh my gosh, I saw Becky at Cakepalooza. That was really cool. I love her so much, and I've knit so much with her beautiful yarn. But I have lots of little ends and pieces, so I thought it might be fun. And also cashmere treats. I have bits and pieces, and I have some mini skeins from cashmere treats coming. So I thought it would be fun to do a mini skein / scrappy version of the half and half wrap. So I'm going to do that, and I will also be making a video for that, because I know the half and half wrap, even though the cal is officially over, people are still knitting it. They're still doing it. There's a lot of interest. It's a very comfort piece to knit and work on. So I know, many people are still working on it. Yeah, so the 3 parts: the social, seeing all the sweaters, the wool and wool vendors and local Hudson Valley region and other, like, even further afield vendors, like craft people, these small businesses that are just so fun to support, because they need to continue existing in this world, and we should all buy from small businesses that are local to us if possible, or just local small businesses over corporate made stuff. Of course we buy corporate made stuff because it's a little more affordable, but if you can afford small business, you're supporting a family when you do that. That's the truth, and that's beautiful. Yeah, so there's those 2 pieces, social, and then all of the small business owners and fiber related stuff. And then there's all the animals, and that is just really, really fun. I took a lot of video of the animals, which I'm just layering in here and there. I hope you enjoy looking at it. So yeah, all in all, it was just so fun. And as I said, it just starts out being so surreal, and then you start, you push up your sleeves and start purchasing and, meeting people, and yeah, it's so fun. I'm really, really looking forward to Christy Glass's Tell Me About Your Rhinebeck sweater. There were so many unique sweaters. I can understand why she started the video series years ago. Yeah. I captured a couple images and video, some footage that you may see here, or I might have put in before, but yeah, really, really cool. I am going to end this because I've already been jabbering on for over an hour, telling you about my Rhinebeck experience. I hope it gave you a little taste or flavor, made you feel like maybe you were there and you could really get a good sense of what it was like. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like the video and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, if you want to see more and want to see me talk more about my knitting and spinning, and I do some sewing too, sometimes adventures. Yeah, join, subscribe, and yeah, my next regular episode will come out next weekend. It has been 1 month since I last recorded, just because of life stuff getting in the way, and yeah, it'll be a bumper episode of lots and lots of knitting that I want to share with you. So I am looking forward to sharing it all with you, especially my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and much love. Stay safe, and I'll see you again soon.